was a 12-year-old little girl, I was dealing with depression. Of course, it was not diagnosed as depression then because we didn't go and talk to people. I didn't go talk to my pastor. I didn't go talk to my teachers or anyone. We didn't go to counselors in that day. And so the only person that I would talk to was my horse Princess. And it was during that time that the Lord, during my sadness, didn't know what that was, but I would talk to Princess and share my heart with her. And that's when the Lord said, one day I want you to start a ranch for hurting children that are hurting just like you, to help them and give them hope. Fast forward to 9th grade campus, teaching in Bowling Springs High School, and the Lord said it was time. It was time to start the ministry of Hope Remains, and that was 2006. And during that time, I went to see Hugh Brantley.
Well, I remember that well. Melanie came over and was talking and sharing a passion about the troubled youth that she was aware of, and she felt like that many of them were falling through the crack, and she wanted to do something about it. With her education background, she felt called to God really to start a ministry. It's very difficult. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to start a ministry. And you really have to trust the Lord when you step out. So she had that passion and drive, I think, that would make her successful in that.
Well, Melanie and I met, and as we went through the day, she had asked me, you know, if I would mind her coming out to the farm maybe a couple of days a week and, you know, seeing the horses and grooming on the horses. You come anytime that you want to come. You know, the horses love attention. And then, of course, she says, well, would you mind if I maybe brought a few children with me? And I was like, sure. And at that, she started explaining to me what it was that she had been dreaming about, the conception that she had of helping children who needed help, helping them with horses. I had this little building out back, storage building is what it was, junk. That building was completely cleaned out, renovated, even shelving put in the center section for me and having more organization for my junk. And the far end of it was built into a little classroom for the children to be able to go into and have their lessons.
First of all, let me say I was praying about what was going to happen at our farm because we had property, but it was sitting empty, and we really wanted God to use that in some way. And I was really excited, and I think Greg was too. I don't know.
Excited and a little nervous. But yeah, it was very exciting to see someone who had a vision and had spotted a need and had a plan that God had put in their mind for dealing with this need.
I would see the kids coming, and then I would see them in circle time. I would see them doing chores. I would see them working with the horses and riding the horses and the interaction that was going on. And occasionally a parent would stop as they came down the driveway and say what a blessing it was to their family.
So I've been involved with Hope Remains for about 10 years when I first got introduced to Melody and her vision and her passion. When we're obedient to God's call, He blesses us. And all He asks us is to pedal the bicycle. And sometimes we don't know where it's going, but He's got the wheel. And I see that in reality here at Hope Remains. I think the first thing the community needs to understand is what it effectively does for children, their families, and people that are hurting, to rehabilitate their lives and to help heal the pain that's going on. You know, there's so much pain in our society, but this is a beautiful place of restoration.
So we came out here, we had a team, it was about 40 people that came out here to serve that day, and I can remember standing right here in the stable and gathering around to hear the story and the mission of Hope Remains. And it was very overwhelming. I remember standing here and just being very overwhelmed and tears in my eyes. And the stories that are shared are just simply amazing. I mean, you can hear a pin drop. And I know it moves people. The stories, the success stories, they move people. They move them to act. They move them to give and to be a part of the mission of Hope Remains.
If I look back 10 years ago, the humble beginnings and where it is today, wow. We grew from just a few hundred people that have been touched in a year to now almost 4,500 people a year that have been touched by this ministry.
And now, 10 and a half years later, God has done enormous work. We've seen thousands upon thousands of children and families and adults come through the gates of Hope Remains. The bell continues to ring. Salvations continue to come, and we just praise the Lord for all the work that He continues to do at Hope Remains.